Hello everybody, this is JerTheGeek, and I've had this Apple Watch on my wrist for 1 week now, and in this video I'll be telling you what I think about it. So first off, since this is a wearable device, let's talk about how comfortable it is. I have had no problems with it. I find it very comfortable on the wrist. It sits very nicely. It isn't too loose or too tight. The peg setting that I have it on right now feels very nice. And I like how you can slip this part of the band into this little thing right here, because that way you don't have this part flapping around. It fits very nicely, it's easy to put on, and overall it's very comfortable to wear throughout the day. The sport band is the only band that I currently have right now, and it's honestly the only band I would really want to wear because I absolutely love it. I love the color, and it is very comfortable, and obviously it's able to get wet. Definitely a very comfortable watch. It's also not too bulky in the wrist. I mean, I have pretty big wrists if you want to compare it to my MacBook or whatever. You know, you can see that they are pretty big wrists, but it looks very nice. This is the 42 millimeter, but it definitely is not a big bulky smartwatch. I'm really liking the selection of watch faces so far. I've used quite a few different ones throughout the week, from analog to digital. This is probably my favorite face right here. I love the modular face because you can just change a bunch of information. You can see a bunch of information, customize it to your liking. You can change the color. I like being able to go from blue to green or whatever. It's a very nice watch face, and this is probably my favorite. I also am liking this face because for someone who doesn't really use an analog face that much, it has all the numbers there, so I can easily read it if I do want to use this face. There's also a lot, fun faces. Like this one is really cool with the jellyfish, and you can see the date and the time there. That one's pretty cool. And I'm also liking this face right here just because it's kind of classic and fun. So there's a lot of cool things that you can do with the watch faces, like with the astronomy face. You can look at the solar system or the moon or stuff like that. Like, that's really cool. Just a lot of fun stuff overall. And I also like the information you can view too. Like, you can view your activity, you can view the weather, the temperature, stuff like that. So that's very nice. And overall, I'm really liking the watch faces so far. Glances are really helpful to be able to just get quick access to information, especially on a watch face that doesn't have all that stuff built in. For example, this watch face here only has 3 different sections for information, so if I want to see something else, I can just swipe up and easily control my music, or check my activity, check my heart rate, view baseball scores, and information for baseball games, stuff like that. It's very helpful to be able to just get quick information right from your wrist. I haven't explored the App Store too much, but I have installed mainly just the apps that have companion apps for my iPhone. The remote app has been helpful with the Apple TV. I have 2 games here that I've messed around with. That is pretty fun, just as a time killer type thing. Radio is really helpful to have. And of course, checking sports scores and reading news headlines is helpful. The CNET app is quite interesting to be able to read through, tech news and stuff like that. It's very helpful to be able to do that. You can only read basically headlines, but if you want to just get a quick view of what's going on in the world of tech or just in news headlines, it is pretty helpful. And that's about it for apps. I haven't installed a whole lot of them, but overall the ones I have installed have seemed to be pretty good. The crown is definitely very smooth. I like how smooth it is. I was having issues with it being a little sticky, and it was like getting stuck as I turned it, but I found online that Apple does suggest if it does get stuck, just run a little water in there, and it works perfectly fine now. It's a lot smoother. And that leads me to talk about water resistance. I have been able to wash my hands, which most of the time it doesn't get wet when I wash my hands. It usually gets like wet underneath. But for the most part, that works fine. I've washed dishes with it where it ultimately hasn't gotten too wet. And then I have taken it in the shower once, where I've taken it off and put it on the ledge of the shower on the side, so that it doesn't get extremely wet. And it has gotten, it gets a lot of water on it, but I'm able to pick it up and still, kind of blow off the water from the screen to be able to control my music, or select new songs, adjust volume and stuff. So that is helpful. I'm not sure if I'm going to be taking it in the shower very often, but it is helpful if I do, want to do it, or if you accidentally fall in the pool with your Apple Watch on or something like that, that it should be fine. Based on the tests that I've seen, it seems to be pretty water resistant, and for me, so far, it's been perfectly fine. Messages is also really helpful to be able to quick reply to messages or send those animated emoji. It's just really nice to be able to actually have full-on text conversations using dictation or just these quick replies right from your wrist without having to pull out your phone. It may seem a bit of a novelty, but it really is convenient. Being able to check your mail is also really helpful as well. I like being able to check up on comments and stuff like that, different social media stuff right from my wrist, and get alerted. I mean, actually be able to read the whole email, because on Pebble I couldn't actually read the whole email, but on Apple Watch I actually can. Some emails it has trouble doing, it doesn't allow you to view if it has like a fancy template or something, but for the most part it works really well. I can keep up with what people are saying and commenting across YouTube and stuff like that. Also, phone calls are so fun on this thing. It just feels so cool to be able to take calls right from your wrist. It feels just kind of normal. It's like you can put your wrist down and just kind of talk without having to hold the phone up to your head. So it's very cool. Definitely kind of a show-off type feature, but it's nice to be able to answer calls or decline calls right on your wrist. The fitness capabilities on this thing are really nice too. I'm not a huge exercise person or anything like that, but I do like being able to get the insight on how much I have moved through the day, and it actually is very fun to be able to see how much you've moved and just have a little goal and try to fill up those rings. So that is actually a very fun thing to do, and I actually didn't think I'd really be that into it, but I actually really do like it. And also there is the workout app here that you can use to track different things. I've tried it once. I was able to track an outdoor walk. As you can see there, I did just a quick around 13-minute walk. So it was very fun. It tracked it, and I did it all without my iPhone. So it tracked my heart rate, it tracked my distance. The only thing, obviously, it didn't have GPS, but overall it worked very good, and I could just leave my iPhone inside and basically track this. It tracked the whole workout all by itself. So that's a very nice feature to have, and it definitely works great for fitness stuff, and I'm liking that part of it. Surprisingly, I am liking it a lot. Siri is extremely helpful to have right in your wrist, because you can use it just about anywhere. You can either hold down the digital crown, or you can say, "Hey Siri, what is the current temperature in Chicago?" And there you go. You can get quick information. You can set reminders. I also use it to define words and stuff when I'm doing schoolwork. And another thing I want to touch on too is that this is outside, and my phone is inside in my room, which is pretty far away. It's through a lot of walls and stuff, sitting on my desk, and yet it's still able to get a connection. There's occasional times where it will lose the connection, but for the most part I can keep up the connection out here, and I can still use Siri and use all my apps and everything without problem. So the Ring is great because it uses Wi-Fi, so that's one thing that I'm really happy with. The only thing that I would say that I'm not happy with is the fact that Siri does not have any voice feedback. There's no little like beeps, and there's no voice feedback when you use Siri, and you also cannot play music through the watch's speaker, which I understand that maybe wouldn't sound that good, but I still would like to be able to listen to music from the speaker, because you do get noises for alerts, and you get noises for phone calls, and you can obviously take a phone call on it. So I don't know why they couldn't just allow the speaker to play music, but maybe they'll be able to do that in a future update or future model. But overall, I am very satisfied with this thing. The last thing I want to show you guys is how well the wrist raise detection works. It's on the camera like this. As you can see, when I raise my wrist like this, it turns on very nicely, and overall it works great. I'd say it works about 90% of the time, and it's very easy to just touch it to get it to turn on if you do have that kind of rare instance where it doesn't turn on when you raise your wrist. So overall, it has been a very fun week with the Apple Watch. I'm having a lot of fun using it, but as fun as it is to use it, it is also very helpful and useful throughout the day. It's nice to be able to check the temperature, to check your activity level, see how much you've been moving around. It's nice to be able to get messages and actually reply to them right from the watch, read quick news headlines, play a quick game right on your wrist. Some of it may seem, like it's just kind of a novelty, but a lot of the stuff on the watch is very, very useful. And overall, I'm really, really liking this new Apple device. So if you haven't already, please subscribe by hitting the annotation at the end of the video if you're on desktop, or clicking the link in the description if you are on mobile, so you don't miss out on any of my future Apple Watch content, as I definitely will have a lot more. So thanks so much for tuning in and watching this video. God bless, and have an awesome day.